Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here again today at Re-Written Vintage Homestead. Today is part one of our series, Boots on the Ground. It's time to get serious. And there's so many reasons behind this, between the conflict in Ukraine, the conflict with China and Taiwan, rising prices, inflation, unemployment, so many reasons. We should be taking this very seriously and taking care of ourselves. So to kick this off, I wanted to talk about pantries, what they are, why they're important, and how to use them. So let's go. So I wanted to start with pantry. Now, here at the homestead, I have an outdoor pantry and I have an indoor pantry, and it was a mess. So I had the worry about the outdoor pantry maybe freezing. It was hard for me to rotate things and keep track of what I used, what I had. And the indoor, I just didn't have enough space. Like I may have told you before, this is a very, very small home that I live in. So I had to come up with another way that would be more efficient for me. So, first, let's talk about what a pantry is. So when you say the word pantry, I have a fear that with the younger people, they may think, oh, good grief, that's something that old people have. That's something that they did back in World War One, World War Two, and during the Depression. There's no such thing as a pantry anymore. But it's just a word. And what that means is your food storage. What do you have? Where do you keep it? How do you use it? So your pantry, think of it like a bank. You have your savings in the bank. You have your checking. How do you use it? How do you build upon it? How do you invest it? It's the same thing. A pantry is there to take care of you, especially during times like this. When you're creating a pantry, you want to keep some things in mind. Number one, how long will things keep? Will you use it before they go bad? Will you eat it? You don't want to stock up or go to the grocery and buy things that you're not even going to eat. Okay. What recipes do you have that you can use them in? And long term, what if the power went out? Do you have foods in your pantry that you can use to eat to get you through those next couple of days? What about nutrition? Do you have fruits? Do you have vegetables? So it really encompasses a lot of things. You don't want to just have a box of spaghetti on there and some spaghetti sauce and think, I'm good. Because you won't be. If the power would go out, if something would happen to the water grid, if you get sick, if a member of your family gets sick, do you have ginger ale? Do you have 7 Up? Do you have crackers? All of those things you want to keep in mind so you don't have to run to the store where there could be a shortage of those things. Think of pandemic. Remember the toilet paper. Remember chili beans. They were hard to find. So were soups. Certain soups that people really enjoyed were hard to find because everybody at the same time were thinking the same thing. I'm going to go get my favorites. Well, just imagine if you already had those favorites in your pantry, it would save you from exposing yourself to maybe a sickness, or if people weren't treating each other respectfully, you'd be safe in your own home. You also need to think of your pantry as a way of building wealth. So when you think of the things that you use in your recipes and that you like to eat, you can find those things on sale. You can look for them at the cheapest price. And so when you're making those recipes and you're eating those meals, you're not going out to eat. You're not spending that money on food that's really not nutritious. And inflation has caused the prices to go up 2 and 3 times of what they were for a price of a hamburger. So you're saving money that you can invest elsewhere in other things. So taking care of your pantry is like money in the bank. you can see it's really small. I have a little oak table sitting there now that we don't even use. I thought we would use it for paying bills and that kind of thing, but we really don't. I have a desk in the other room that I use. When I moved from my old house, I had a huge collection of teacups, and you can see I don't want to get rid of those. But I am really in need of a pantry space. So this measures about 44 inches wide, and I'm going to see what I can do. The ideas that I found, it looks like I'm going to go with an open pantry, vintage kind of look. So we'll see how it turns out. So I got this new unit to put on the wall, and I really like it. I've got my canned goods that I've done so far this year. You want to make sure that when you do your canned goods that you date them so that you use them up quickly. I've got all my baking items, and I've got them labeled so that I know what they are, because you know, your baking soda can look like your powdered sugar, which can look like your sugar if you don't have them labeled. So I really like this open concept because I can see over here from my counter what I have and what I don't have. I have my canned goods all sorted out by expiration date. That's something you guys want to do when you're building your pantry, is take the time to go through your canned goods and see when they expire. If they've expired, get rid of them, get some new, and keep the newer ones towards the back and use up your older ones first. I've got my fruits, and I moved all of my canning equipment and my food preservation equipment down here. My dehydrator, my blender, my mandolin slicer, my apple corer, and my roasters. So I keep my box goods in another pantry that's away from the light, away from the sunlight. This is as well, and I've got everything in airtight containers so that they will keep longer, but I can see in a glance what I need. And this is the finished product. I took this metal shelf and I made it into an extra pantry for myself, and I even made it old-fashioned and made some curtains, and up at the top I have all of my food preserving things that I need. I have my extra baking items, my extra canned items, I'm sorry, my extra vegetables, my extra fruit, some extra dishes, and then I have extra canned goods down there. I'm saving my egg cartons. And then down at the bottom, I have some more canning supplies and some more canned goods. So just this little area right here gave me a lot of extra storage, and I just love my little curtains. And I got these extra bins that I put on a shelf next to it to hold some items. And that's handy. Here's a side view. Yeah, but just that little area, you can take a very small area and have extra pantry space, which I needed terribly. I have a little bench here on the side where I keep paper goods. I've been saving my egg cartons for a while, and my eggs, instead of putting them in compost, I'm going to plant seeds in them this year, so everything is biodegradable. Plus I have that extra calcium that's good for your plants. So don't think, oh, I don't have enough room for a pantry. You know, what am I going to do? If you have a small space, you can take a metal shelving unit like this and make it into something really cute.